Hey everyone, it's me Joe, and today I'm bringing you a brand new gender series tutorial. Now, in the last year, I have had so much work specifically around this because obviously at the start of 2019, I was doing a lot of press when it came to the launch of my first product that was a collaborative product, and it was designed around my boy to girl tutorials. Now, as well as doing this, I've also done consultations with Marie Claire in Elle magazine on this specific thing, which is not feminizing the face, because I don't consider this to be how to paint on a female face, because how can you do that? There's so many different types of face in the world. What I do with my makeup is try and shorten the spaces in between the features so that everything looks a little bit more symmetrical and always a little bit more refined. Now, for me, I have been focusing so much on different areas of my work that it's been kind of like different from my usual stuff, because normally I start the new year and I've done like a big end of year highlights video, I've done like a catch-up video, I may have done a couple of random tutorials or reviews. I've been so busy, and it's just been a case of starting to really engage you guys to try my different stuff. I mean, I think it's funny because like people always want, which I've noticed as I've got older, people always want you to stay the same. And it's like, when I got to a certain level in my YouTube work, it's like, what, you want me to stay there? You don't want me to do something new? And for me, it's not about that, because it wasn't a money orientated thing for me, or it wasn't about people finding me or knowing who I was. It was just about creating things and doing things as like, can I inspire someone to be themselves from this? And I get testaments of that every day by the beautiful messages you guys send me. So it's weird because like I do want to jump back into this, and I want to do some more videos this year in lifestyle, beauty and food and all different stuff that I like to do, and I'm doing on my website, which is josephharwood.com. But I don't want to focus on this like a YouTuber would. It's something that I've done in the past that I'm very proud of my work. But I come up with new stuff all the time, and I really want to do new businesses and try different areas. So hopefully you will follow the journey. So I've just done a girl to boy tutorial, and in that video I kind of mentioned that I've pushed all my videos over to JH Cosmetics, so you can find them almost like an index. So there are unlisted videos, there are things that you may have seen 10 years ago on my channel that I've never kind of shown, and also from my website you can find my original JH Cosmetics videos. If you go on beauty and you scroll through the first looks, I've linked them into my JH Classic Look blogs, so you can see them from there, and they're on my JH Cosmetics account. So if you guys do want to go back in history and watch some old reminiscent videos, then please do. So let's get in with the tutorial and the review today. Now, for me, I have always been obsessed with skin, and when it comes to facial feminization, this is going to be quite a long video because I think I will catch you up with things as I go on. But I am having such an arduous task really with my skin, because I have been trying to follow dermatologist directions, which is something I wouldn't do. And I'm saying that because I know what's going on with my skin. I know what makes my skin react, and I've got very good quality skin, but it's hyper reactive, which means if I put the wrong product on or I don't treat the skin in a specific way, it will go very viral and red, and also be really sore for me. So I keep my skin in good condition, I keep my skin in good quality, which is super important if you're doing any kind of makeup. And I advise, if you get to 25 and you haven't moved on to a retinol, which is a product you use at night, it's basically like a resurfacing product made from vitamin A and various different kinds on the market. And if you can buy it over the counter, it's not going to do anything with your skin. It's going to be just a minor booster. If you want to get serious, you have to go to a doctor and ask for one. But for me, I have to treat my beard. Now, I've had years and years and years of laser hair removal. I've got to be really careful with my skin because I have too much pigment in my skin to get conventional laser, and my hair is really pale. So I can't just go through the regular normal routes that everyone thinks you can, because electrolysis leaves me with pigmentation and laser doesn't seem to be effective. So I have to treat the way I shave, and if I want to get a good shave, my skin will go red and it will break out. Disaster. So this year what I've done is I've moved from using that retinol that keeps it kind of calm to using a antibiotic called limacycline, which is meant to be an anti-inflammatory. Now, it didn't work, and for about, I would say 4 months now, we've been trying this with the doctor, and it just has made my skin so much more reactive. So I've stopped the limacycline, and now I'm going back to my regular retinol, but it's been a trial and error thing with my skin. So I've not wanted to do too much because I'm like, I don't want to upset the balance of my skin. One product that I really do like, which I think I can recommend to you guys, is this one. If you can see up close here, this product is one that I've actually been loving. I'll show you the packet. Can you see? So if you're going through similar things to me and you have sensitive or stressed skin, this is called I think you say it like cyclinic, but it's spelled like cyclinic for sensitive and stressed skin. This is the PSL skin and it's an Asian product. It's called Physiologic Skin Lipid. It's a PSL emulsion technology with natural ceramide for skin barrier function. Best solution for stressed skin, recommendation for all skin types, dermatologically tested. Now you get, it's got BN Look, which I don't know if it's their owner company, but basically I found out about this product because it's got so many amazing reviews. And what happens is if you have very difficult skin or you're having very sensitized skin and you really need to get the barrier function in repair. So that means you naturally have acids on your skin, you naturally have bacteria on your skin. If you're going in with all these products, it's going to upset it. So this one actually gives back to your skin, it puts it back in working order and it calms redness. So it says on the skin, the best solution for sensitive, irritated and or stressed skin, yeast origin ceramide and phytosterols improve skin barrier function and soothe the stressed skin for external stresses. PSL emulsion technology stabilizes the hydrophobic ingredients and provides the best solution for stressed skin. Acidic formula also soothes the skin and prevents stresses from reducing skin irritation. Parabens, phenylethylenos, ethanols, petroleum, mineral oil, and pigments are not formulated. So what you do is you cleanse your skin and apply as special care as needed. So they basically... it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it because it's not the same as a moisturizer. It's more like a treatment moisturizer. But for my skin, it's something that really puts my skin back in working order. And I have a few events coming up. I'm hosting one of the main stages at DragCon in the UK this week. I'm introducing a couple of the queens. And I think I might be doing a panel, but I'm not quite sure what they've said about that yet. It's difficult for me to get my skin in working order for all these jobs because I'm like, well, how can I if I can't shave without my skin going bright pink and then like burning, I can't commit to work where I'm in fabulous mode. So it's really difficult for me sometimes. But do you know what? Everyone's got things. I'm blessed in so many areas. I can't complain really. And it's not exactly a problem that I can't fix. It's just a problem that irritates me. So my quest for perfection goes on, but who knows? So I'm going to put links in the description below for this product. And I'm going to apply it to my skin now just to show you. So it comes in a squeezy pump and I'm just going to put some here. Now, before the video started, I've already applied it. So I'm not going to put too much in. But I can't really describe what it smells like. It smells just like a nice skincare product. It leaves the skin feeling fresh, hydrated, and I'm also going to be using the MDNA Rose Water Spritz, the Rose Mist. If you put a product on that's got anything that pulls water to it, it's a good idea to top up your water. So whether you drink more water or you spray something on the skin, I wouldn't necessarily spray just fresh from the tap water, but if you have a water-based toner, it's very gentle, just apply that and it will just pour water to your skin. It's what the product's meant to do. So again, I'll pop that in the description below. If you guys have got stressed skin, if you have irritation from shaving, it's a good one. And they also do another range that's good for evening pigmentation. So again, because I have this problem where my skin actually pigments every time it burns, and I've posted a few times on my Instagram, one of the reactions I had to laser hair removal where from here to here, all of my skin came out in freckles after laser because it burnt my skin. And I had to actually work for about 4 months to try and balance that back out because it looked like I had a beard from the darkness of it. And it was really difficult to get through. So again, annoying, but what can I do? So let's go in with the makeup. Now, I don't have that much dark shadow in my beard area because I've got rid of most of the dark hair in my beard. I've just got very stubborn kind of brown and blonde hair left. So if you did have a dark patch around your skin here, you can go in with a colour correction, and I would recommend something like the Derma colour creams, which are very cheap. They're about £3.50. If you buy from extrememakeup.co.uk, you just get the refills. They are sturdy, endurable, all colours concealers. They're good for stage makeup, they're good for everyday makeup, they're brilliant, and I use them as concealer. I'm kind of like a medium skin tone with olivey base to it, which shows through as the sun comes out. And I've got freckles, so I use this pinky shade, which is D2W, which I've been using consistently for about 10 years. It's the only colour that will completely knock out any under eye. And my least favourite thing I've seen in the last 3 years, I think, with makeup trends is that people are using concealers that are like the ones that come in like a cream in like a dipper pot, like a lip gloss, and they don't counterbalance the look of a difference in surface. So when people conceal their under eyes, they cover the colour difference, but it still doesn't brighten and lift the area, which if you get the colour right, it should do. So even if I'm going to use a concealer, I will go underneath with this, because as you can see, just that colour correction, it makes it immediately look flat. So if you guys are new to makeup, I would say learn your colours before you learn skill, because that will get you further. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of going along the nose because that's where I want it to kind of skinify my nose. Obviously, the classic JH contour. And I've put the original tutorial, if you guys remember, when I had pink hair and I had all the lines over my face. That's available on my website if you go into beautyandjosephharwood.com. So you can see the original video that started the contour, where you cut in the nose with the concealer. And I'm very grateful because Matthew Anderson promoted it, and he was the guy that did RuPaul's makeup originally, and people cottoned onto it from that, I think. So very happy to see all these years later that it's the kind of way that people do their nose contour now. So I don't want to use too much product. I want to use my finger to really shape the face. It's almost like you can feel where the makeup should sit if you are just paying attention. When it comes to foundation, I'm going to do this first, even though I think the more dramatic your eye makeup is, I would do the eye makeup first. But if you're on the go, you just want to make yourself look neat and together, I'm going to be using double wear foundation. I use 3-in-1. This can be a little bit kind of flat sometimes, and I used to love double wear because it was so hefty. You would set it and it wouldn't do anything. The new formula of double wear is a little bit more sheerer, a little bit more malleable, and it's a little bit more silicone-y. So when it actually sets throughout the day and the environment hits your face, it can be a little bit shiny. So I will mix it sometimes with Studio Fix Fluid, which has got clay in. So it will bring through a little bit more of that oil absorption and make your skin look more flat. Now, if you're going to go outside and you don't have the best texture skin and you want to look as stunning and neat as possible, I think you need to know how your skin looks in all different lights. So go outside in the sunlight, go into a bad bathroom lighting, go into a supermarket, which is normally the worst lighting, and see what you think. See what you think about it, because I think sometimes you have this illusion that your skin looks great at home, and then you go out and you see yourself in a mirror and you're like, Jesus, when did this happen? Because that's not what I looked like when I left the house. So just try and test it out. But for me, if the texture of the foundation is right, it can cover a multitude of textural flaws. So if you have things like beard regrowth through the day, if you have things like acne, you can really disguise that if you mix in a little bit more of a matter base with your favorite foundation. Even if you don't love the matte foundation, just add some more of that matteness to your favorite and it will give a softer finish to the skin. Okay, so now the base is laid in, I really work on making sure that my hands are touching all of the areas of my neck that I cannot see. So double check if you've got any different kind of demarcation around here, 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 anywhere in the hairline that you think could be visible, and just make sure all of those areas are blended through. Maybe go in with a tissue and take off any excess. But for me, I like to sculpt with my lighter shades. It's almost like when you put in the highlight in a painting of something like a jug or you're doing a 3D picture. And I start off with a colour that's a little bit more richer than my skin tone. So when I go in with that lighter shade, it will bring out a little bit of contrast, and that's how you shape the face. A lot of my kind of like old school tutorials are still online. And if you go into my videos and scroll through the playlists, you will be able to find things that are more specific to basic feature tutorials, whether it be contouring, whether it be covering beard, whether it be eyeshadow, whether it be eyeliner drawn back in or brows. I've got more specific detailed ones here. This is just an all-rounder today. So we've gone in with all of the base. We've gone in with the colour correction. Again, you could have used that concealer around your beard area if need be. I now need to conceal and highlight. So the product I use is Kevin Aquan. It's Essential Skin Enhancer, and it's basically a custom colour that I've mixed, and I used a mixture of a kind of ashy nude, purple. God, that sounds a bit crazy. Do you guys need to know how I mixed it? I didn't think you do. It just matches my highlight colour now. So I mix it and it's now this colour, which I'll show you. Okay. So with my brush, I'm just going to go right under here and I'm going to go over the under eye. And can you see how that's just lifted that shadow that was there? It's an easy breezy one and you don't need to use a lot of this product. I'm just going to go in, I'm going to map out the face. As you can see, I'll be just lining all the features and then I'll talk through it. Okay, so I may have adjusted this a little bit since my older tutorials, and I'll explain a little bit why. I used to go in with a more heavier kind of contour, which would kind of shade in as well as highlight. I think that when we kind of see that look now, I think people have become accustomed to seeing an extreme contour. And I don't think it reads, now that everyone knows what it's doing, as being as flattering as having less contour. I think it makes people look a little bit older, and I think in person it can look a little bit muddy when not done with a very professional touch. So I would say if you're new to makeup and you want to do a real full sculpt, I wouldn't use any kind of cream contour. I'd leave it and just do a little bit of shading, maybe with a bronzer after, which we'll do in a sec. But when it comes to actually thinking about looking youthful, fresh, softer, and just changing the proportions slightly, skip that step. When it comes to loose powder to set with, because you need to keep this on your face, if it's like kind of like those old-fashioned calligraphy things where you used to dry out the ink with rice flour or whatever you use, I use two brushes. I use one that's a bit firmer and I use one that's a bit fluffier. So I'll show you now. Shake Off. The powder I use is by Dermacolor. It's the same brand as that little cream I used as a concealer and the colour corrector. It's, again, quite cheap. It's about 20 quid for a big pot and it will last you probably about 4 months if you're sparing. Now, anywhere that you feel needs to get that extra bit of just solidification, like your under eyes, go in with the firm brush, so through your nose, and I always do a little bit extra on my under eyes because I think I've used a couple of products there and you want it to set. Now, do not use a brush around your facial hair. It will lift the product off any hairs and it can exaggerate texture. Use something with a flat surface like a sponge. Now, I have a black sponge with a flat surface here, which I use, and basically I stamp it and push into the facial hair areas, because this way you skip any problems of lifting. So my favourite product is no longer on the market, but I would go in now with a product that kind of diffuses light. So the one that I would recommend is probably a powder foundation by MAC called Studio Finish Mineralized Skin Finish. So that, Studio Finish Mineralized Skin Finish. They're basically like pearlescent face powders that don't look shiny. They give a little bit of sheen to your skin without it looking shiny. I have these old school products by Shu Mirror. I was a really big user of Shu Mirror back in the day, and I haven't found a product that I like better on my skin. It's their Face Architect powders. So it gives a little bit of coverage and a lot of beautiful texture. So you can probably see it just transforms the look of the skin and it looks a little bit more softer. Now I'm using this colour, which is a little bit of like a highlighter shade just through the centre of the face, like so. When it comes to face highlights, like sheenier highlights, I don't like them for the same reason I mentioned with the contour. I think that now people know how to do makeup and it's become more understood by the mainstream. People just see it as being a little bit kind of showmanship, I guess you would say. It looks a little bit kind of like overdone for daytime, I think, but you can add a little bit of highlight. And I always used to use Pure Pigments, which used to be the best option back in the day, but they've got so many decent pressed eyeshadows, and this kit's actually really good. It's by Makeup Obsession, Throw in Shade, and you can use it as a contour. As you can see, I use it regularly, and it's got sheeny highlight. So just really swirling the highlights, tip of the brush. A palette I also really like is by Dominic Paul. He actually is awesome, sent me this palette, and it's got highlights and contours in that are all matte. They're all very light, so you can't really go wrong with them. I basically just use these to line against my nose before I do my eyeshadow, and it catches any fallout. It kind of creates a barrier of product, and it slims the nose a bit. So I'll show you now. Right, now when it comes to the colour side of makeup, this is the easy part because you can go wild. You can follow any video on my channel that will show you step-by-step instructions about how to create different eye shapes, different eyeliners, different brow shapes. None of this stuff really distinguishes a feminine look because people look so different in all different walks and subcultures, and people just dress how they want to dress now, I think. You can have really thick eyebrows, you can have really thin eyebrows. I know when I prefer to do a bigger brow on me, because I like the effect of kind of like a supermodel richer brow, people think it looks a little bit more masculine on camera than if I did a thinner one. So you can never please everyone, but this is the part where you guys can be your own artist and you can do whatever you want. I would say when it comes to the lips, that bit you can do a trick with, which I'll show you next. But other than that, have fun. I tend to use a classic cat line, and I just colour in my contour here with a little bit of shadow. Very simple. Again, I've got that on my channel before, so I'm going to rush through that and I'll be back for the lips. Okay, I have returned now with a little bit more eye makeup on, so I feel a little bit more complete. Maybe a little bit heavier than I normally wear, but I'm actually going for dinner with my friend Juno later, so I wanted to get ready while I was doing this video. So don't blame a bitch for trying. 2 birds, 1 stone, and all of that. So I will talk you through what I've used. I used the Throwing Shade palette only. I just used that very, very deep colour, and I went up 2 steps. So I used 2 tones, and then I washed over the entire lid with that bronzer shimmer. So 3 colours. Simple eye. I then went in with my MAC Brush Black pen liner. This line is great if you want to just do a quick line. It dries and stays on. If you want it to be super secure, you can go over the top of it with a more of a waterproof or a gel. But that's the step that I've got specifically on this tutorial channel. So check that one out if you want to see it. With the mascara, I have gone in with 3 mascaras. Now, I'm not wearing false lashes, I'm just doing my regulars, so I like to give a little boost. I adore the Pat McGrath mascara. It is really good at building your lashes and really black. However, I have the tendency to have quite weepy eyes, and it comes off onto my lower lid throughout the day. So I start off with that just to get the length, the blackness. Go in with something called Super Stacked. It's a white mascara by NYX. It's got fibres in, sticks to the lashes, so it builds kind of like an extra layer of lash. And then go in with my all-time favourite, which is 2000 Calories by Max Factor, and this one will stay on. Bit of a complex step for mascara, but it just gives me a full lash without it looking too voluminous for daytime. Now, with the lips, I have very specific techniques with my lips because what I try to do is shorten the gap between my nose and my mouth. It's very feminizing. It looks probably the most effective thing, I think, on most people's faces when they get it right. But people go in with very significant and strong lip lines, which I always find is a little bit of a giveaway. You don't want it to look too drawn on, and when people see that very dramatic lip line, it can kind of give it away. So you always want these tricks in makeup to kind of be just below detection. You don't want them to be that over the top, or it can be a little bit too much. I have this pencil, this liner by Huda, and I'm just going to go in now with that on the top lip. They always joke that you should match your perfect lip shade to your areola, which I've always found hilarious. So I'm going to go in with my favourite by Huda Beauty. Let's get the right one because I've got like 4 different in this bag. This one. Now, this is the colour Girls Trip. You can see how much I love it because I keep it in my purse. Now, Huda Beauty, they released these lip products and I didn't like them at all when they came out. They were very dry. They've reformulated them and they re-released them, I think, so they feel a bit better on the skin. Now, you can leave it like that, but for my taste, what I do is I just go in with a little bit of that loose powder and I'm going to use that fluffy brush. Soften and set the lip line, and there we go. So that's pretty much my tutorial. Now, you can go in with the set spray if you like. This one is by Huda. It's their Rusting Boss Face. It's like a dehumidifying spray. It stops your makeup melting, really. It's kind of what it does. And it's nice just as a finish. Doesn't do anything physical. So now I'm going to go in my hair. And I have a blondie today, which we have curled. So let's have a look. We've got just my fave blonde and I'm going to pop that on now and I'll be right back. Okay, so now this is the finished look. I'm so excited to have got ready whilst doing this video because it killed 2 birds with 1 stone, as I said. But it was fun to do an updated video where I can share with you guys more of what I do today. So it's kind of like an everyday tutorial for me, but it's part of my gender series because I needed to do a girl to boy and a boy to girl just to finish this list off. Because I'm always thinking about how can I just make everything feel more complete? How can I make it look better? How can I bring it up to now, but still tie in all the work I've done before? So hopefully, if you're new to my videos, you can find some of my old stuff that I've mentioned. And if you like this one, check out my website. And also, I mentioned earlier in the video that gorgeous calming skincare which has done wonders for my skin as I've been going through this transition. Check them out in the links below. Cyclinic for sensitive and stressed skin. The PSL cream will be listed and you can find all their other website stuff down there in the description. I have to say I did try and do this without lashes, but where I'd done more of a smoky eye, I put the wig on and I thought, you know what, I need to have more lash. So here we go. Thank you so much everyone for all the love and support. I still am amazed to find that even like, I don't know when the last time I did a video like this was, maybe about 6 years ago, and people still write to me. I got a beautiful email yesterday from a trans person about how my work had inspired them. Hopefully this will inspire different people and new people will find it. So thank you so much, all the love. If you have any questions, you can email me, send it in the comments below. I'm not as active on here as I once was, so might not catch it, but please reach out to me on my other social media like Instagram and Twitter, and take care.